Welcome to Rocket Ship, the home of epic React Native content. I'm Simon Grimm, creator of Galaxies.dev and the only host of this show currently. Last week, I told you about what could potentially happen to Expo SDK 53 and what we might see. I actually recorded this basically a day before Expo announced the SDK 53 beta. So today we actually have something real to talk about in terms of the new Expo SDK, and we're gonna also talk, of course, about other news from the React Native ecosystem. I want to share some tiny wins, things that happened over the last week. So let's dive into the episode. You also gave me some feedback. Some of you really like the new light format, and some of you mentioned that on YouTube it's probably not the best if I just talk about these things. So today I want to try and show a bit more visual stuff for everyone watching on YouTube, while also trying to keep it as audio friendly as possible. So you just might hear some clicks because I'm navigating around in the browser, but I will still try to deliver the usual podcast friendly format. With that being said, let's get into our React Native Radar section. Expo SDK 53 beta is now available. That was posted on April 11th. So that was basically a day before I went on vacation. Thanks for that, Expo. Great coordination, but of course, no bad blood here. I'm excited about this. I had the chance to look at the updates. I will do a full video breakdown of this once it's released. So they said the beta phase should take like 2 weeks. I don't know if that's really going to be the case. I feel like it's going to be a bit longer. And also my initial thought was that they would release it at the app.js, which is at the end of May. So I don't know, maybe it's going to be earlier and going to be available before the app.js, because that would be really a long time. With SDK 53, we talked about it last week, some things that we will see. The new architecture is now the default for existing projects. There's now edge-to-edge support for Android projects included automatically. But most notably, I think the biggest change is really the new Expo UI package. So with the Expo UI package, you can include things from Swift UI and Jetpack Compose immediately in your React Native application. This is I don't want to say it's unheard of, but it's really a big step forward, especially for people getting started who want to use some like stock options available in their apps. There's a documentation that you can check out, which includes some of the elements like pickers, switches, buttons, and whatnot. It's quite interesting. If you dive into the code on GitHub, you will also notice that there's now an at Expo UI Swift UI package, as well as an Expo UI Jetpack Compose package. So you can have like really these specific iOS or specific Android-like components that you can include. But there's also a general Expo UI button or Expo UI label component. So all of these things will of course change. There's a big warning here. So everything here is super experimental, it's very rough, and it's changing quickly. So if you want to check this out, be aware that the code you've write today might absolutely not work tomorrow if they change things in here. However, I think it's a really great thing. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. I always wanted to have this. Many folks contributed to this. Also someone, the mysterious Pflaumenbaum. So I expect this is a German person who contributed. I don't know who's the mysterious Pflaumenbaum. They just mentioned it like that in the docs. If you're that, leave a comment below the video. I think you're doing great work. So again, Expo UI will be interesting, will change, and I will talk more about that in a future video. They also added experimental support for caching local builds, which is interesting. If you work with a team, it might pull down an EAS build so you don't have to do another build. There's actually a lot going on in terms of making builds faster, also with Metro and changes beyond the scenes. So that is pretty cool to see. These are like the biggest things. In terms of highlights, React Native 0.79 and React 19, as I already said last week, which has this funny use thing. Releases of the Expo audio library. Expo Maps package has a new alpha release, as I teased last week. So we're going to dive into all of these things. Beyond that, really, yeah, a lot of, I wouldn't say minor updates. They're actually, to some degree, quite big. For example, React Server functions now support in beta. That's pretty cool, and really cool things. Also, Expo SQLite on the web, stuff like that. Let's get into all of the rest in a future video, and for now also take a look at some other notably updates from the community. So the one thing I found is that, okay, by the way, you can also get React 19.1 with SDK 53 and use the cool new error messages that Evan Bacon teased some days ago. But what I also found is that one of the most popular packages, FlashList, is getting a version 2, and it's getting a version 2 complete rewrite. It has been rebuilt from the ground up for higher precision, better ease of use, and we achieved all of this, and I'm quoting the repository, while moving to a JS-only solution. This is quite interesting because I know Jay, who's working on, I think it's called LegendList, is doing pretty much the same, and he had great success with the JS-only solution for list and rendering. And everyone said like, oh, LegendList might be the best thing, and now FlashList is also moving to a JS-only solution. Really, quite interesting what's going on. I don't know how it's suddenly possible to have a JS-only solution that works better than what FlashList did in the beginning with like the recycler views and stuff. But it's really cool to see because lists and list performance in React Native have always been a reason for discussion. And by the way, we're coming back to a little React Native discussion in the end of this episode because there's something going on right now. But right now, just notice FlashList version 2 is in alpha beta support right now. I think it's alpha. Yeah, it's alpha. So it's really early, but you can give it a try. And it's exciting because I think many people are using it. And if we can just upgrade it and get even better list performance, that would be amazing. Beyond that, I also saw that React Native has a new tool called Phantom. Phantom is the new integration, testing, and benchmarking tool for React Native. Its main goal is to allow running JavaScript code as close as possible to real React Native application using a cross-platform architecture in a fast headless environment that run on CI. I still have to check this out, how it works. Again, this is also early days, but just so you've heard about this, it's called Phantom with an F in the beginning, not with a PH. This is still experimental, but on GitHub, this looks quite interesting. And if Meta is coming up with something, or the React Native team, then it's always interesting to look into this. Finally, one more thing that Evan Bacon shared is that soon, and probably Expo SDK 53, I'm not exactly sure, there will be support for updating your env variables and not having to restart your app. I don't know if you've noticed this before. If you change your .env file, you always have to do a new run of your application. And if this works without, once again, making building apps so much faster. Actually, it's like he's typing in an env and it's instantly updating in the view. This is kind of like strange. I have no idea how he's pulling up these things and how he's like, is he getting up one Monday morning? It's like, why do I have to update my app whenever I change my env? Today, I will fix that. I don't know what's going on in Evan's brain, but it's interesting to see, and I'm thankful he's doing all of these things because all of these tiny things, whether it's improving error messages, making env files update instantly, or doing like the npx test flight or the Apple targets, all of these things make our life so much easier. But before you tell me again that this podcast and video is sponsored by Expo, I will stop saying good things about Expo. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about technology I'm testing. So right now I'm working on a giant clone application. You know, I'm doing these clone applications for the YouTube channel, and right now I'm doing a Captions clone. Captions is an application where you can upload a video or record a video and piece together a video, and it automatically adds captions to your video. And I wanted to do this as well within a React Native app and actually real functionality. So for this application, I'm testing once again Convex, and I really love Convex as a backend. It is such a joy to work with it. It is really like I can't even express this. Like, you're writing TypeScript is very different from, let's say, you're using Supabase. You write all your backend functionality in TypeScript while still staying in your React Native project or whatever other project you're using, Next.js. And you can then import like the mutations and the queries and the schema, all of that directly into your app. So you have like a really tight coupling between those TypeScript interfaces from the backend and your front-end application. And this might sound a bit strange in the beginning. It has a learning curve in the beginning, absolutely. But it is, once you got like the hang of how these things work, the mutations and how Convex internally works, it is such a peace of mind. Like you just code, it's almost like you're vibe coding your Convex backend. And they also just had a new tool called Convex Chef, which I recommend you check out. It's pretty cool. You know, I like all these bold and lovable and Replit and all these things. But usually, or besides Replit, they will give you only front-end code, V0 and lovable and tempo. With Chef, you're actually building out your Convex backend with AI, and then you can piece on top of that your front-end application. So Convex Chef is really interesting approach. It's slightly different from anything else. And to come back to the tech I'm testing, beyond Convex, so beyond the backend, I also try ElevenLabs for converting my audio from the video into text. And it works really, really great. With ElevenLabs, you can do many more things besides speech to text. You can do, of course, text to speech, voice changer. I tried this myself. I uploaded like a podcast episode, and then I had a voice clone of myself. It's kind of scary. It's also, by the way, illegal if you do this for other people. So you can only do this for the people you have the permission, which in my case, I think I have permission for my own voice, but I'm not sure. I think so. So Convex and ElevenLabs are the technologies I'm testing right now. And you're going to see more about them in a video, hopefully dropping right before the app.js. At least that's my plan. Next category is my tiny wins category, where I always like to share a bit like the behind the scenes and the tiny wins. And my tiny win was that last week I was on vacation in Copenhagen, and I love Copenhagen. So some of you might know I'm from Germany. I live in Münster, which is like one of the most livable cities here. We have a lot of bikes, and I think we have like the most bikes in Germany. And biking around is just our thing. However, if you come to either Amsterdam or Copenhagen, you're going to see that biking is there on a whole nother level. We rented a bike in Copenhagen, and they have separate bike lanes next to car lanes pretty much everywhere in the city. So you feel so safe in that city driving a bike because you always have your own lane. There's even like a little border, so cars usually won't get like on that. If you compare this to when you saw like Casey Neistat drive around New York City, and it's like crazy and madness, it's totally not made for that. Copenhagen, absolutely made for biking. Such a pleasure. And the parks and everything. And don't get me started on the food. The food is epic as well. We had like soft ice 3 times and way too much food. It's, by the way, quite interesting how fast you can gain back weight. Like it takes 2 months to lose it, and then you get it back in 1 week. It's so cool. Not, absolutely not. But anyway, Copenhagen was a big fun. The only problem I had is I'm self-employed. I like to check like, how did this video go? How was that short? And at the start of the beginning, I kind of checked in on those things because I always take my laptop with me in case something happens. But that makes it so much harder to disconnect. While if you're an employee, you're probably going on a 2-week vacation. You leave your stuff at home, and you're like after a couple of days mostly disconnected. While I'm like constantly connected, and it's really an effort. It's really hard to disconnect. And I'm like, even after 7 or 8 years of being self-employed, I still struggle with this, and I need to do better next time. So I don't want to schedule anything for the next vacation. I don't know if this will work out, but we're going to see. Beyond that, I also had another tiny win, which was that in my application, once again, I made sales. This is so much fun. I'm really happy for everyone subscribing to Galaxies, but having someone purchase or going pro in one of my apps feels so different. Like they say, "Oh, Simon, you did such a great job here." And that gave me the motivation to continue building my app. I'm working on the next app. Gonna share something about this in a second. For the moment, this is, oh yeah, I wanted to show this, but nonetheless. But beyond the sale, I actually got an email from someone who's really enthusiastic about Quick Track, which is my calorie tracking application. He said, like, this is the perfect app on I tried every other app. Your app is so much better. I don't know why not everyone's using this. And then I said, like, he wanted a feature for like Expo. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to include this in the next release. And he's like, you built that app? Just you? I thought it's like a giant team. Wow, this is so cool, man. If you ever want to support. And it was mind-blowing to see that person like really rooting for me and saying, this is an amazing application. And yeah, once again, it gave me this little, just like the tiny little in-app purchases and notifications, this email, I'm still keeping this in my inbox and looking at it a couple of times. It just like made me feel really good inside, because I think I never really got an email like that. So those were my tiny wins of the week. Let's talk about an underrated tool. Well, it's not too underrated probably, but I noticed that with AI, and yes, we're now getting into that stuff where Simon talks about AI. I recently posted this, that I can't understand why some folks still don't code with AI. For example, in my new application that I'm building, I was like implementing some sort of dark mode on some pages, and yeah, probably I can also do this better, but I had that whole page. Sometimes it was using style sheet, and I was just going in cursor saying, hey, please convert this page to native wind and also add dark mode. And it takes like probably 8 seconds or so, and that whole page is converted perfectly. I had this posted on X. It just works, and I've used this for many pages of that app. If I would have done that stuff manually, it might have taken me a day or at least a couple of hours. And so for like these mundane things that are really boring, like convert this, improve this function, outsource or put this code into its own component and use it in here. Yeah, I can do that, but there's like a lot of copy and paste, and that is the boring stuff I really want to get rid of. That is the stuff that AI can do. I don't want to let the whole coding be done by AI. I still want to understand what's going on, but try to use AI in those places. And it might not make you a 10x developer, but it will certainly make you a lot more productive and faster at what you do. Now, let's come to another section that I usually call Build in Public. Sharing some updates behind the scenes, so I'm trying to come up with some new Galaxy swag. I was actually in the need of a new head anyway, so I'm trying to design a Galaxy's head that I can also wear in my videos. That is something I'm playing around with. It's actually not too easy to make that look good. If you have any ideas for a good cap, send me your pictures. I posted this on X before, still trying to figure this out and how it would look best. Besides that, I still made on vacation some progress on my AI therapy app before I decided to shut down my laptop and just play Pokemon on my old Game Boy. So my app is coming together really nicely so far. The navigation stuff works. Most of the AI works. I implemented a whole onboarding flow. I added some animations. Again, most of the stuff in here, showing this right now on YouTube, is working. It is privacy focused. You can delete all your data locally. I still only need to fix a couple of things like re-rendering issues with the chat, as well as some minor bugs in general, and just testing this out. But beyond that, I made good progress, and if I find time for this, I will probably finish this, I don't know, in the next couple of weeks, and that will be pretty cool because I think it's a really useful application. And yeah, building in public, what else is Simon doing? I'm mostly working on short form videos, so shorts for TikTok, YouTube. I'm just posting this everywhere, they're the same. Short form videos as well as long form content, which is the Captions clone, and in between doing podcasts and trying to develop my own app, which is actually quite a lot. So I'm trying to find the balance between these things. Beyond that, I'm also training for a triathlon, which is now in like 2 months and I still can't properly swim. So anyway, that's gonna be fun, but I can run. I'm a good runner. I'm actually not a good runner. I'm like a shitty runner. I was a good weightlifter. No, I wasn't even a good weightlifter. I think I wasn't good in anything. But, I'm trying all of them. So trying the hybrid athlete stuff. But anyway, yeah. I'm trying to balance that and living a life and working all on these things. But most of the time, I really enjoy what I work on, but I still have some like thoughts about the future and trying to figure out what's really important. What do I want to be in like 5 or 10 years? I haven't found the clear answer. I sometimes think like I want to do more apps and build more apps. But at the same time, if I think about like having one major app that's bringing all the money, I actually don't think that's what I want to do. So I'm really driven by curiosity. I like to explore things like Convex, ElevenLabs, AI, and whatever new technology that comes up and talk about this with you and help you make sense of what's going on. And I feel like that should be somehow part of what I want to do in the future. But I always need to combine that interest with somehow also making money, like having membership site, a product, or a mentorship program, whatever that might be in the future. So these are the thoughts I have as a builder. And now let's get into the last category of today, which is trending technology. I saw in a post from Beto that he was trying, I think it was Beto, I think so, some different kind of updating. So, with EAS updates, you can easily update your app, but he was trying something called Hot Updater, a self-hostable OTA update solution for React Native, alternative to Code Push. And it looked really amazing in his test. And many people said, yeah, you can self-host this. It's quite easy. He was running this locally. You can actually plug this into Supabase or Cloudflare, AWS, Firebase. So it's quite interesting. I'm not sure exactly how it works behind the scene. It's probably having some key generated for a version and then uploaded, and then your app will check against that. But that it's possible and you can do it and self-host it is quite interesting. I think Expo EAS Updates is still a great product and makes things a lot easier for many companies. However, if you're an indie developer and you still want this and maybe can't afford EAS updates, then self-hosting Hot Updater, and I also learned there are other packages, could be a great alternative for you. Now, I don't want to make this episode too long, but there's something I want to talk about for a sec. I stumbled upon this a couple of days ago. There's a video called React Native isn't as popular as you think. And I'm pretty sure when the podcast comes out, there will be a reply from Theo or other people about this video. Because for whatever reason, that video got really popular. It was posted by an account that has like 5,000 subscribers. By now, it has 180,000 views and it has 752 comments. Okay, so I don't know exactly how that person pulled that off. I would love to have a video like that. Maybe I should do it, a video like this. But the main essence is that, React Native isn't as popular as you think. And that person made some claims about the showcases of React Native, which are to some degree correct because they haven't been updated for a long time. But many other things he said about React Native simply weren't true. They were not researched very well. The problem is a video with 180,000 views, which is called React Native isn't popular. It's just popular. It's like just very popular. It's going to be promoted on YouTube to new people. Junior developers will see that video and say, hey, oh, it's not? Then I'm going to learn Flutter. So it's gonna have an impact, which is a pity because it's sort of wrong. The good thing is that Jamin Holmgren, Jamin was also on this podcast, one of the best episodes. We had so much fun. Replied to this. He made a comment that, of course, got drowned in all the other comments of people saying React Native is shit and you should use Flutter or whatever. But he clarified a couple of things. That's pretty great. So you can actually rest assured that Facebook is using React Native heavily a lot in their own apps. So many popular apps are built with React Native. Just check out the examples that Evan Bacon gave in his usual updates from the categories of the app stores. You can easily see this by downloading the apps and extracting their bundles and checking what's used internally. And also, I think, Theo said, I guess I have to respond, huh? Yeah. Also, Cedric from Expo posted that he did a little search on Indeed. He found about 300 plus React Native jobs compared to 25 Swift UI and 25 Jetpack Compose jobs. So saying React Native isn't popular is just not true. It's absolutely clickbait in that video. Some claims in that video are false. I will probably not do a reaction video. Really, Theo can do this. He's better at doing reactions. Just want, if somebody shares that video with you, you can reply accordingly and say, hey, that's actually not true. Most of the stuff in there is untrue. It's not well researched. So do your own research. Look at all the great React Native apps being built. Look at the community of React Native. It's not declining. We're in a great shape. And I hope, and I'm pretty sure, this will continue over the next time because the new architecture just arrived. It fixed and solved many problems React Native had in the past. Expo is solving problems that React Native developers had in the past. And all of this just is trending in the right direction of making React Native more stable and more popular in the future. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope you're going to have a great day. You're going to build some epic apps. I hope you're going to have some tiny wins in your week, whether it's a little vacation, a nice comment about your app, a sale, or just that AI helped to save you some time while you are building your apps. Check out Galaxies, check out the channel, and stay subscribed for videos about Expo SDK 53 and all the new functionalities coming soon. And I will catch you hopefully next week because I try to make this a weekly review and look on the React Native ecosystem. So share this episode with your friends. Leave a comment on Apple Podcasts. That will really help me out, and I will catch you then. So have a great week and happy coding, Simon. Thanks for joining today's episode. My goal is to share interesting stories and insights into the world of React Native development. If you enjoy this show, please subscribe to the show on YouTube, Apple, or Spotify. And on Spotify and Apple, you can leave up to a 5-star review. Because podcasts, and especially niche podcasts like this, are hard to find, subscribing and leaving a review does help me a lot. On top of that, check out my React Native courses on galaxies.dev that cover a variety of topics from getting started to building and publishing your mobile app. Finally, you can share today's episode with a friend or colleague who would enjoy the topic of the show. If you have any questions or ideas for future episodes, find me on X or leave a comment on YouTube. And last but not least, thank you for listening and happy coding, Simon.